Hello, my name's Alan Palmer. I'm a neuroscientist, entrepreneur, and trustee of One Nucleus. I'm also a trustee of the Brain Tumour Charity, the British Neuroscience Association, and the Cancer Awareness Trust. In addition to that, I'm a visiting professor at the School of Pharmacy in the University of Reading and an honorary member of the Society for Medicine's Research. My career is focused on brain disorders and their treatment. Following a degree in biochemistry at the University of Warwick, I took up a position to study neurochemistry at the master's level at the Institute of Psychiatry before moving to the Institute of Neurology, which is now part of UCL, to work with David Bowen. David had pioneered the approach of looking at post-mortem tissue, and he conducted a major study looking at over 36 biochemical markers in post-mortem tissue from Alzheimer's disease and compared it with age and post-mortem delay time matched control samples, and was able, out of this study, was able to discover that there was a deficiency of the enzyme responsible for the synthesis of acetylcholine, choline acetyltransferase. And then 21 years later, this led to the first rational treatment for Alzheimer's disease, the approach of using acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. And so that was a great example of translational neuroscience in action. Following 2 years of postdoc with David, I then moved to take up a faculty position at the University of Pittsburgh, where I joined the Department of Psychiatry and also the Department of Pharmacology, and became a principal investigator within the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center there. And in addition to that, I co-founded Pittsburgh's Head Injury Research Center, where we pioneered the approach of therapeutic hypothermia. So this is cooling the body down as a therapeutic modality. And we showed this worked experimentally to show therapeutic efficacy, and then translated this into the clinical arena by packing people's bodies following traumatic brain injury, severe head injury, in ice for 24 hours to bring their core body temperature down to 32 degrees centigrade. And this then was shown to improve their outcome both 3, 6, and also 9 months after the injury. And that's now become a standard measure of care in the United States. I came back to the UK then in 1994 to join a pharmaceutical company, Wyeth Pharmaceuticals. At the time, they just bought American Cyanamid for $10 billion. And as a result of that takeover, they rationalized the organization and unfortunately closed the facility down, which is 150 people working on neuroscience drug discovery within the facility in Maidenhead. Although I was offered a job in the US, I decided to work with 4 colleagues from Wyeth, along with Chris Evans, to form the UK's first neuroscience startup company called Cerebrus. We grew very, very quickly. We attracted venture capital funding and also institutional funding in excess of £27 million, and progressed very effectively, moved into a large facility just south of Reading. And in 1999, Cerebrus merged with Vanguard Medica to become Banalis, which is still listed on the London Stock Exchange today. In 2002, I left Banalis to form another company with Mo Alavijay, and this is a company called Pharmadex Pharmaceutical Services, which is a well-established CRO based in the Hatfield Science Park. I left in 2008 to form a number of other companies, the latest of which is called Elixa MediScience. Elixa focuses on neurodegenerative disorders. Alexa, I said Elixa, not Alexa. So Alexa, off, please. So we are focusing on neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis. So the process of neurodegeneration is very, very complex. There are a number of factors at play at the same time. And the approach taken up to now is to target single mechanisms. And unfortunately, particularly in the area of Alzheimer's disease, this approach has failed to identify a compound which slows the process of neurodegeneration and thus the ongoing disability that ensues, either cognitive or physical. So we think that if we target more than one mechanism using a multimodal approach, we should get good efficacy. So we've identified a number of lead candidates, and we're aiming to identify a development candidate from one of those in studies next year, and then move this into the clinical arena in 2024. The first therapeutic target that we've identified to focus on is multiple sclerosis. MS affects 180,000 people within the UK, 130,000 people within the UK, and 2.8 million people worldwide. Its most common form is the relapse remitting, where symptoms wax and wane over time. But this eventually evolves into a phase of disease called secondary progressive MS. Although there are a number of drugs to treat MS on the market, particularly immunomodulatory drugs, these only work in the relapsing remitting phase of disease and have no effect at the secondary progressive form of the disease, which is associated with a much greater disability. So there's a major unmet need there that we target in by focusing on secondary progressive MS. And we believe that our compound has got good potential to have therapeutic efficacy in this disorder. In 2024, then we'll aim to identify another development candidate and then move to studies to looking at Alzheimer's disease, which again is a massive unmet need. And this need is going to increase over time as the number of people over 65 is continuing to increase. This is as a result of the baby boomers reaching age 65 in 2010. So the number of people in older than 65 is increasing very sharply. So the need for therapies which slow down the process of neurodegeneration and thus the decline in cognitive dysfunction is very, very large indeed and increasing. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Bye-bye.